It's 8:45 a.m. Welcome to Pedal the Preserves. Over the next 24 hours, I am going to bike a total of 67 miles from here in St. Joe at Meyerfield to the Middle Fork campground and then back here again tomorrow. We're going to camp overnight. I'm going to document the entire journey. This is a great way to see the beauty of the forest preserves here in Champaign County. I am going to do that with a 360-degree camera in the back of my bike and 2 GoPros here in the front and maybe a drone. I am excited because I'm about the only person riding on a 1970s Raleigh bike with very little biking experience, and everybody else looks like pros. What could possibly go wrong, I ask you? We'll find out. I'll see you at Homer Lake. That's our first stop.
I don't mind saying I roll out of bed and I roll up. Ooh, stretch my back and legs.
Pedal the Preserves is an opportunity really to showcase so many of our wonderful preserves to the bicycling community. It's a way to get people that ride bikes to see some of our spaces that perhaps they haven't seen before, and it shows them how to get to our spaces on bicycle.
The ride started on the Kickapoo Rail Trail, which extends 24 miles from East Urbana to Kickapoo State Park in Vermilion County. It passes through some of the most diverse ecosystems in east central Illinois, like woodlands, prairie, and wetlands.
We had 75 people pre-registered, 95 total registered for this weekend. And it's a combination of anything from choose your distance, you can ride a mile or two, 20, about 35, about 65, up to about 85 miles.
So I chose the 67-mile route, which maybe wasn't the best choice for a novice cyclist. I quickly found myself left in the dust on the county roads. But that's okay, I was enjoying the scenery. Biking really gives you a chance to notice the beauty of Illinois crops as they near the end of their growing season and the architecture of farmhouses and homes in the area. But there were miles to go, and I was only approaching my first stop. Welcome to Homer Lake. We made it. We all made it. I made it 7 miles. It felt more like 50. I'm not going to worry about that part of it. It's going to be fine. This is a beautiful forest preserve in Champaign County. It has a wonderful lake, as you can see here. There's an interpretive center where you can see lots of wild animals, raccoons, snakes. You can get a feel for the kind of wildlife here at Homer Lake. There is a beautiful natural playscape for kids, which I bring my kids here all the time to play on that, with a waterfall and all sorts of things. So I've learned some bike etiquette on the way here. Always wave at your fellow bikers because they're always waving. All the bikers wave at each other, and also look on the ground for the route markers because they're all painted on the ground. Anyway, we're on to Royal, which is a teeny tiny town, and it's about 11 miles away, and I'm going right now. Goodbye. I have miles to cover. No sooner had I left Homer Lake Forest Preserve than I busted something important. This intersection here is the scene of the great 360-degree camera crash. I rounded the corner and the 360-degree camera popped right off the back. And now Dan and Taylor are trying to figure out how to fix it. Mostly Dan. How you doing, Dan?
Doing great.
Is it going to work, Dan?
It might work for a while.
Okay. And then off we go into the distance towards Royal. Royal proved to be quite a trek, another 13 miles from Homer Lake. I quickly ran out of water huffing and puffing through the countryside, so I stopped to hydrate with a peach. Day 1, halfway through, which is when Taylor, the producer, informed me that you pedal about 42 miles of the journey the first day, and the remaining 25 or so on day 2. That's when I may have done just a little whining. I don't like that! All right, I better get started then. It is gonna be midnight. Let's fast forward just a little through this part of the trip. I think I see Royal in the distance. And get to the finish line of day 1, the Middle Fork River Forest Preserve. It's the only forest preserve in Champaign County that offers overnight camping and a beach with sand and swimming. But the most spectacular attraction can only be seen at night.
Middle Fork River Forest Preserve in particular is a huge tourist draw because we are the only international dark sky park in the entire state of Illinois. So we get people from all over the country, all over the world, I'm sure, as well as the state of Illinois, coming to enjoy the skies where there's not light pollution. So you can see the stars, you can see things that you can't see when you're in the city.
Day one is over. It's been a very long day. It's been a wonderful trek, and I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. Good night. After a little breakfast with my fellow fast bikers, I hit the road for a much shorter day two. Okay, all right, so I didn't make it the whole 67 miles. But the chance to get quality exercise and really take in the beauty of the forest preserves and the countryside was the real point anyway, right?
Having these kinds of spaces that are a little bit wild, they're green, they are so important both to help the health of the earth, but also really to help the health of all of us. You've probably heard stories and some studies over the last few years about the importance of getting out into nature and how that helps your physical and your mental health both. And we feel responsible to provide that for the community because they're not going to always get it anywhere else.
Well, I'm back. It's been tiring, I have to be honest, but it has been such a wonderful experience and such a great way to see the beauty of Champaign County and the forest preserves. And I've made a lot of new friends with swarms of sweat flies, and it's been really, really a wonderful trip. Thanks for coming with me.